Given that it's been about 15 years ago, I must have been in my early 30s. Back then, I was working at a sizable company. A big opportunity finally came to me. My superior suggested that I should consider taking on the role of branch manager at our company's new branch in Bangkok, Thailand. Having never been abroad before, my curiosity piqued. Upon arrival, I reached out to a friend who lives in Bangkok. He informed me that there was a really nice vacant condo near where he lives and suggested that I come over right away to take a look. To my surprise, it was a very local area, quite distant from tourist attractions, giving off a peaceful atmosphere. At least the area's nice, I thought to myself as I entered the condo. Upon entering, I found it to be very pleasant, surpassing them in every aspect except for the fact that it had only one bedroom. The decor was opulent, with furnishings that resembled those of a lavish mansion. What's more, it was fully equipped with all amenities. It was truly a remarkable, with no apparent flaws. However, the monthly rent was slightly high given the cost of living in Thailand, but I signed the contract right away. I wanted to satisfy my ego by justifying the need to live in a place befitting my rising status as branch manager and the increase in my salary. It's been almost a year since I've been living in this condo. A series of incidents begins to unfold. One evening, completely exhausted after work, I entered the building and suddenly felt something brushing past me. It was an eerie feeling, sending shivers down my spine. Startled, I glanced back, finding nothing there. Then, as I stepped into the elevator, I felt a sudden chill, as if cold air had swept through. A chill in such hot and humid weather in Bangkok? It felt odd. Or I might have caught a flu. Maybe I shouldn't have worked so much. Being a branch manager wasn't easy. Thinking nothing more of it, I opened the door to my condo, and all of a sudden, I felt a heaviness on my shoulder and fell onto my knees, buckling under the weight. After composing myself, I looked around, relieved to find no one saw my fall. Feeling a bit embarrassed, I wondered why I felt so weak. After taking a quick shower, I went into bed and drifted into a deep sleep. I suddenly felt the same chill that I had sensed in the elevator earlier. It was creeping up slowly, bit by bit. Feeling uneasy, I slowly opened my eyes, only to find a woman sitting quietly next to my bed. Wearing a traditional Thai dress made of white silk, with her long hair gracefully cascading down. She was looking at me with a wide smile on her face. Judging by her appearance, she seemed to be around 20 years old. As she greeted me in Thai, saying, "Sawadee krab," I was initially startled, but then, apart from the fear, I was filled with awe. She was stunningly beautiful. The following day, I shared this incident with my colleagues. They responded with a bit of tease.
"Are you feeling a bit lonely lately? That might explains it. Why don't you find a nice Thai girlfriend?"
They further joked about it and seemed not to care much. I also brushed it off and didn't think much else, other than blaming it on working too much and needing much rest. However, from that day on, the atmosphere at home began to change completely. In the dead of night, I was suddenly woken by a chill, and I felt something slithering beneath the sheets. Strange noises echoed throughout the night. Initially, I attributed them to my hectic work schedule and my weakened state. Yet, it soon became evident that my assumptions were wrong. One day, a close colleague from the head office contacted me. He was planning on coming to Thailand for another project. Excited to hear from him, I happily offered him to stay at my place. We spent a pleasant evening catching up, but as the night grew late, it was time for bed. Since he was a guest, I insisted he take the bedroom while I slept on the couch in the living room. Sometime later, I was abruptly awakened by my colleague, who had been sleeping in the bedroom. Visibly shaken and stuttering, he claimed he saw a ghost. At first, I thought he was joking or had a bad dream, but he frantically tried to describe what he saw. He was awakened by the shaking of the bed. When he opened his eyes, he saw a bunch of women in traditional Thai dresses surrounding him, and suddenly, these women in unison leaned their bodies forward and looked down at him. Then, my colleague stopped talking, quickly covered his mouth and headed to the bathroom to vomit. After regaining composure, he continued to explain the horrifying ordeal further. The women's faces, their skin, all seemed to dissolve before his eyes, accompanied by an odor reminiscent of decay and blood. It was so disgusting that it was unbearable. After listening to my friend's words, I became increasingly afraid of staying in this condo. As night fell, I found myself becoming increasingly anxious. To find some peace of mind, I would stay up all night in the living room, with the TV comedy shows on, dozing off from time to time. I wanted to move, but I was afraid I would lose my security deposit if I terminated the contract before the lease ends. As I anxiously awaited the end of my lease, one day my mom called and said she was coming to Thailand to visit me. I offered to book the best hotel for her, but she insisted on staying at my place, saying it would be a waste of money otherwise. I welcomed my mom into my home and earnestly said to her, "Mom, you must not sleep in the bedroom under any circumstances, okay?" However, on that particular day, I had to work overtime at the office. After hurriedly finishing my job and returning home, concerned about my mother being alone, I found her sitting on the living room couch looking dazed and distant. It was then that I realized. Did you happen to see it?
How did you know?
Not long after I left for work, my mom went into the bedroom and started to organize. She hasn't forgotten her motherly instinct even though I'm over 30, but soon after she started feeling sleepy and completely forgot what I had said to her. She ended up dozing off on the bed. How much time had passed? Suddenly, foreign words began to reach into Mom's ears, all garbled. Then, invisible hands began to tighten around her neck. At the same time, sinister laughter erupted. In a panic, my mom began reciting Buddhist prayers fervently. At that moment, another voice reached into her ears.
"Wake up! This room is filled with the evil virgin spirits. Please wake up now."
A voice of urgency was heard, releasing the grip of invisible hands instantly. Startled, my mom sat up abruptly, her eyes falling on a full-length mirror at the foot of the bed. Within its reflection, faces appeared distorted, with decaying and melted skin, laughing and running around crazy. Among them, the most unsettling sight was a beautiful woman, in white dress, sitting calmly amidst the chaos, her smile chilling to the bone. Upon hearing those words, memories flooded back. I knew instantly what Mom had seen. It was the same woman I had seen earlier. I couldn't stay in this place any longer and had to find another place. Thankfully, things settled down there after I moved, and I successfully completed my job abroad, returning home safely. Many months had passed. One day I had to make a call to the branch in Thailand, the same branch I had been working in before. A woman answered the phone. It had been a while since I had heard Thai, and suddenly, memories flooded back. Reassured by the distance from Thailand, I excitedly recounted my experiences there. As I shared my memories, the woman on the phone asked where I had stayed while in Thailand. "You know that huge condo with the swimming pool?" I described the name of the town, the location, the condo's name, and my experiences there. She startled in response. Taken aback, I asked, "Is that condo famous?" And then she began to explain about the condo. Before that condo was built, there was a temple right on that very spot. According to local legend, when a virgin dies, funeral rites were held there. So, when a single man moves in, these virgin ghosts would lurk around waiting for an opportunity, and when he was in a weak state, the ghost would piggyback on him and enter into the house together. Locals all knew about this phenomenon, and she asked me why I hadn't investigated the place before moving in and how I managed to stay there for so long, while others moved out right away. After hearing it, a memory of that day came to mind instantly. One evening, after returning home from work, strangely, my body suddenly felt heavy, and I collapsed in front of the entrance door as my knees lost strength. If what that woman on the phone said is true, could it be that the sudden heaviness I felt at that time was because the ghost climbed onto my back and attached herself as I entered the condo? It sounded plausible, as I heard similar story about a ghost latching onto someone's back. I felt chills all over again. The greeting from that woman ghost
สวัสดีครับ
sends shivers down my spine even to this day.